Howdy of you delish. Howdy of you delicious people. I'm here because it's 2021. It's probably the third one of these that I've done today. And still, I just still don't quite understand the drastically changing of number that will all of a sudden make me just go like, yeah, brand new thing. So reasonably when looking at this thing, I just don't quite understand it. But I guess I'll just talk about anything that had led up to this point of getting us to this number. So 2020, ultimately, I had seen some movies and then went to the hospital. I guess that's the key things that ultimately happened within 2020. Right to the tail end there, I couldn't avoid going to the hospital because ultimately I got really sick. Uh, if anything, the only disappointing thing out of that after that hospital visit was I gained 10 pounds, but ultimately it's like, well, like I've never eaten anything for I don't know how long. It was like a month and a half stretch where I just or like a couple weeks stretch where I just wasn't eating anything at all. Like I would just kind of nibble on things here and there, and I just couldn't eat anything. So luckily, after I had gotten to the hospital, I had been able to actually eat full-fledged meals and actual like a good portion of food, and so forcibly I ended up gaining weight. And I'm like, nah, whatever. I don't care. I don't care. Reasonably, it's just like, well, luckily I'm still much healthier than I was before I even started YouTube, because when I started YouTube I was like 300 pounds, and so I'm not gonna have any New Year's resolutions to lose the 10 pounds that I gained, which would be stupid. So ultimately I'd just be going right back to just, yeah, let's eat unhealthy and let's do all this other stuff to, like, if anything, if people have losing weight resolutions, hopefully they do it in a healthier way than I probably did. Um, but anyways, yeah, it's just, it probably didn't help. I probably did eat kind of healthy. It was just that whole, when I was getting really, really sick, it was just kind of like, yeah, you, you shouldn't have been doing that for I don't know how long, but whatever. But anyways, what happened in 2021? Well, or 2020, I mean, because I'm not talking about in future terms because I don't have a big channel update or nothing like that. Recently, I ended up seeing the New Mutants, and I saw the movie The Hunt. I don't know if that actually all accumulated all in this year because my life becomes a blur. Uh, but yeah, I think The Hunt came out this year. Um, I think I might have saw Ready Player One possibly this year, but I'm not quite sure. But that movie became easily my favorite movie of all time. So that was great. uh Reasonably, yeah, there isn't much of an update or goal of channel recently to have had a secondary channel be put through the paces of this year to try to hopefully say that I could go out of my way to keep making a bunch of videos to exhaust me more than I probably was exhausted with just making two videos on one channel, to now making four videos on two channels. But I wanted to see if ultimately I could kind of like, ultimately I was forcibly having to make two channels because ultimately I wasn't things weren't going well on my other channel. It just felt like I was consistently having to be worried about that other channel. So I just made a second one just in case. So going into this now, doing two different channels, ultimately probably much more tiring myself out, but really I just was also having fun doing it. I'm kind of I'm still really happy, but if anything, probably my 2021 goal is to probably just try to be happier than I was. I think every year is kind of that goal, to just try to be happier. If anything, there might be a lot of people that want to do like weight loss resolutions, or maybe try to finally find a girl or a gal or a guy or a guy girl something combination. Maybe they want to date two people simultaneously. I don't know. Whatever you want to do. Hopefully that happens for you this year. if anything reads me into irrationally, I think I kind of like, besides YouTube, I kind of shut myself off from like social medias and stuff like that. I just kind of like was like, meh, like I'm just gonna do just YouTube, and that was it. And I just kind of I kind of forgot about like connecting with people and stuff like that. And because ultimately, it's like, what difference does it make? Uh, Especially through like social medias, I was like, okay, my opinions through social medias usually doesn't matter, and blah 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 blah. So I just kind of shut myself off from social medias, and I just kind of had like, especially during December, I just kind of had fun just kind of going back into it and just kind of like, hey guys, I'm alive, woo, I'm talking to people on social medias. And I actually had like, whenever somebody would pop in and say something, I'd have some like jokingly thing to say back, just because reasonably I was like, nah, I kind of like, again, nobody probably values my opinion on a social media, so I just make jokes and do funny things and just reconnect with people. And ultimately, I think that was great to kind of end the year kind of doing that, just kind of reconnecting with people. That was a great thing to do. Other than that, yeah, I'm just gonna keep on trucking with channel and or channels and hope for the best. Really, I'm not drastically going to actually naturally assume that everything is gonna start spunning out daisies, just because I'm not a very optimistic like person. Um, but yeah, recently I just don't quite understand any holidays or whatever. I just see them as just another day, and it all just like accumulates into a blur at some point. But hopefully, everything that everybody wants, as long as it's a reasonable, rational assessment upon 2021, will work out. Because I honestly don't truly understand. Like, people are just like, yeah, for 2021, I think like world hunger is gonna be solved. We're gonna have jetpacks, and we're gonna have parades that are just gonna be like all for me and whatever. And I'm like, couldn't we just have a rational, reasonable like prediction of what could happen for 2021? I think people are way too overly guessing what's going to happen in 2021. It makes no sense. Um, I think people are just kind of like thinking that this is going to be a better year, and I think it's just going to be more of the same. Um, but when looking at it, I love people's optimism. I don't have it, so I like that other people are going to be much more optimistic than me, and that's great. As long as they're thinking that unicorns or rainbows are going to come flying out of their butts, I think that'd be pretty fun and or fine. Um, Hopefully everybody has a safe and fun celebration of sorts. I guess I didn't mention any of that through any of the other videos. But yeah, but other than that, there's not much for me to say. There's not an update on any channel. There's not anything for me to really go into. So huzzah, huzzah for me talking about this. But yeah, I think reasonably and irrationally, I was thinking about like making a ton of videos that ultimately could have gone out today. But I don't know. I think I'm just kind of taking a break. To be brutally honest, also, it's just like enjoy the holiday, because I don't think I've been doing that. I've just kind of been like plowing through every holiday, and honestly, just doing more things than I probably would have. So yeah, I'm, as per usual, going to get out of here. I think I have a pre-upped video from yesterday of me doing a review of something, so I guess I'll plot that out. And I did a gaming video on my other channel, so yeah, um, probably we're just gonna do that today, and we'll just have these 2021 videos as well as the secondary channel or secondary video. So I'm going to get out of here. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.